Welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. On today's video, I would like to discuss what we are currently seeing on Cardano and what we have to monitor actually very closely right now, and why I personally think that we are reaching the bottom of this downtrend for sure right now, especially because we have to take a look at a few indicators, starting with the RSI. So if we take a look, I actually opened up today the weekly candle chart. So each candle represents 1 week, and what we can clearly see is that we have been in this major downtrend. We have been already several weeks in a row in a downtrend on Cardano. Cardano has never seen such a big downtrend before, and what I think is quite important to notice right here is that we are actually creating this minor bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. We are right now seeing this higher low on the chart, but as well what you can clearly see is that at the same point in time we are seeing a lower low on the RSI. Therefore this is actually looking very bullish to me, especially because it's on the weekly time frame, and I personally think that this is actually very good for the overall trend right now, especially because we would like to see a stronghold being found on top of the levels that I will discuss in just a couple of seconds as well. What I think is quite important to know is that the very last time that we were so far below the 50 range on the weekly time frame on the RSI, it was actually at this point in time, and this was on the 6th of April of 2020. So this is almost 1.5 years ago that we were this far below on the RSI. So this is for sure something I think is absolutely significant. And what we would like to see is actually a stronghold being found, especially because we are seeing this bullish divergence on the weekly time frame as well. If we zoom in a little bit closer and take a look at the daily time frame, so each candle represents 1 day over here, what you can clearly see is that we are actually at the same range where we were before at this point in time. At the 20th of July of 2020, we were actually at this point in time at approximately $1.06. And we have seen that major spike and increase in price action afterwards, and we are right now actually seeing this higher low on the chart, and as well we are seeing clearly a slightly lower low on the RSI. So in comparison to our previous low, we are seeing this slightly lower low on the RSI. So this is actually as well a bullish divergence, and what I think is actually quite good to know is that the very last time that we actually saw Cardano head all the way down on the daily time frame below the dotted line, we did actually see this major growth afterwards. So something absolutely insane happened at that point in time, and I personally think that this is actually some possibilities right now are actually looking into this case scenario that we are actually going to see that further increase on Cardano for sure. Well, let's discuss as well levels of support and resistance that are actually crucial right now. So for sure I would like to start by looking at the $1.06 level. This range is a range what we would like to stay on top of for sure. Otherwise, I would be actually changing my personal opinion on the overall trend. I personally think that if we do actually break down below the $1.06, we will be way more bearish on Cardano so far. But right now, I'm personally still purchasing a lot of Cardano, and I think we will be making a lot of money out of this. So that is something I personally think is for sure something you do not want to miss out on. But if we do see a breakdown below the $1.06 range, especially because we have seen major stronghold of support being found on top of it, as well resistance previously, I think just this level is a crucial level we would like to stay on top of, but it's still quite a far way down below. Yes, we did see this wick of this daily candle all the way heading towards the $1.10, but it's still above the $1.06, and we have seen a major recovery since that point in time. So that is for sure something I think is quite good to know. And what else is actually very important to me so far? Well, for sure, I personally do not think that we will be able to close this daily candle above the thin blue line that I've drawn above. That is at $1.45. I personally think that we will be actually closing this daily candle below this range, but what I think is important is that we have seen multiple rejections underneath this range, and therefore it is likely that we will be actually experiencing a major stronghold down below of resistance before being able to see a major move towards the upside or actually finding support on top of this range, especially because previously we did actually see that a lot of buy orders were here because we got clearly supported 2 weeks, went all the way up afterwards, and we did actually start seeing a minor uptrend getting started. But right now we broke down below this range, and what I think is absolutely important is to stay underneath the $1.45 and perhaps retesting this range before being able to break out above it. So This being said, I would like to discuss as well on the daily time frame the EMA ribbon. On the EMA ribbon, you can clearly see that it is serving as a major level of resistance above us. We are right now experiencing a major resistance underneath, but what I think is actually quite likely, as you can see previously, once we are this far away from the EMA ribbon, it is actually very likely that we're going to see an increase in price action, and that is exactly what I think that will be the case on Monday. For sure, it could perhaps as well be the case on Sunday, but right now I personally think that we are expecting a major move towards the upside on Monday for sure. Well, this being said, I would like to take a quick look as well at the 200-day moving average. On Cardano right now, it does look doubtful, especially because if we take a quick look at where the 200-day moving average is, it is actually quite far above us. The very last time that we were this far underneath the 200-day moving average was actually a very long time ago. We do not even have the data when we did actually see the 200-day moving average as a major level of resistance in the past, and I personally think that right now it is actually likely that we are going to still trade underneath the 200-day moving average, and for sure, personally, I don't think we will be able to break out in the very first try above the 200-day moving average, especially because we are right now clearly far underneath the 200-day moving average on the daily time frame. Well, lastly, I would like to take a look at the MACD, and on the MACD, what you can clearly see is that we were actually heading towards a crossover. We were seeing a major decline in momentum, but right now we are seeing a continuation of momentum towards the downside. This is actually something I do absolutely think that is awful and devastating for the trend, especially because if we do experience such a long momentum towards the downside, we could be heading for sure towards that $1.06 range and retesting it perhaps as a level of support before being able to see a major spike towards the upside. But what I think is actually quite important, that if we look at the weekly time frame, we are actually already experiencing a major momentum towards the downside for quite a couple of weeks, since the 4th of October actually, and I personally think that it is likely that we're going to see a momentum decline taking place. And as you could see previously, we experienced momentum towards the downside, and the decline happened actually rather fast, and we saw an incredible increase in price action at that point in time. So perhaps right now we are actually preparing ourselves for such an incredible pull and leg towards the upside on Cardano, and therefore I am actually still very bullish on the Cardano price action so far, and I hope you agree with me. So please, if you did like the content so far, do not forget to give me a thumbs up down below. It will be highly appreciated, and you will be as well supporting the channel by doing so. So thank you very much already, and do not forget to subscribe as well. Well, lastly, what I would like to show you is actually that if we are right now seeing this major downtrend, we have never seen such a major downtrend on Cardano, but I'm still absolutely optimistic so far. And what I think is important, what I mentioned earlier, is that we would like to stay on top of the $1.45, otherwise a further decline is absolutely likely to occur. And what else is actually good to know is that if we head towards the daily time frame, we still have as well the orange box above us, and the orange box is as well a level of support and resistance with major touch points underneath and above. So therefore, if we do see a further incline above the $1.45 range, breaking out above the $1.60 level will be actually very difficult for Cardano. So at this point in time, we could perhaps expect once more a rejection taking place and finding support on top of the $1.45, for example, before heading even further. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, do not forget to give me a thumbs up, as I mentioned earlier, and as well, have a nice weekend.